Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Dayna with From Fertility to Delivery. Whether you've been following for a while or you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Now, when it comes to fertility and infertility, and also fear around childbirth, where does the root start? The root of these fears, blocks, inabilities, perceived inabilities, because nothing is really unobtainable. We are able to manifest anything in life. That's a healthy way to start your day and think like that. But right now, you're in gridlock. It may feel like you're bottlenecked. Maybe you had some trauma recently or in the past, and it's still lingering within you. And I talk a lot about this in a lot of my other videos, but the root cause of these issues, it does lie in the Akashic Records. Every decision we make from a conscious perspective, whether it's finding the love of our life and getting married, that's a beautiful, wonderful decision, or it's a car accident, which is crunchy and it feels really bad and horrible. All of these decisions lay in the Akashic Records. So depending on what issues you're having with your life, going into the Akashic Records and clearing them is really, really important. Now, what are the Akashic Records? I made many videos about this, but it's basically, if you could picture a library of all of the stories your soul has been a part of and created, the lineage of your ancestry, and the story of the DNA that you hold inside of your body and inside of your blood. That's where all of these stories coalesce and where they can be found. Now, is this a physical place that you can visit? Not in this dimension, but in your mind's eye, you're able to access the Akashic Records. Everyone has access to the Akashic Records. So if you're listening to a spiritual teacher or someone that says that they can access it for you, that's okay too. But know that everyone holds the key to the Akashic Records. The idea is to have the person unlock the door for you, and eventually you're going to unlock that door for yourself, because everyone has access to the Akashic Records. Just like everyone has access to breathing. That's how basic it is. So I want to bring these things, these esoteric ideas down a lot of notches to make them very humble, normal, and accessible. Don't ever feel like you can't access something. That is a lie that has been told in our society, and it's completely not true. So with regards to the Akashic Records, you have the ability to move yourself into that space from a dimensional and mental perspective. We are having to put on our caps, our imagination caps. You probably did that when you were in grade school or in elementary school, and you have to go in and imagine that you're going into the Akashic Records. And what I do in my healing exercise that's on my website, From Fertility to Delivery, there's a tab at the top that says Healing Exercises. I have an Akashic Records healing exercise that you can tap into. Now let's give you some information on why you would need to do this. Let's say you had a miscarriage or a stillbirth recently, or within the past 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and you are now experiencing infertility. You may feel like your body is the issue, but that choice that was made on a very, very unconscious level to co-create a really tragic moment with a spirit baby and your partner at the time, that was a choice that was created as a contract in the Akashic Records. So going in there and clearing that clears the block of the infertility. Then from a conscious level, you feel like maybe your body failed you. You don't trust your body. You feel like something was defective inside of you. And that's a topical way to fix something that's really deep. What I'm getting when I tap into this is that this is the root cause. This is what we need to talk about, and this is what we need to focus on. So I invite you to check out the Akashic Records Healing that I've created. I made sure it was accessible for everyone. It is $18 and it's a one-time charge, and you have it for the rest of your life. And I would recommend you do it at least once a week, no more than twice a week, because you don't want to over access this type of energy. It may seem very easy, and I made it very simple and very fun, the exercise, but it's also very deep healing. So after you do any sort of healing exercise, you want to drink a lot of water, get some minerals. Sea salt will do in your diet, so you could sprinkle some on the next meal that you eat, and really let the work happen on its own. It's like going to the gym, and you spend a lot of time, maybe it's legs day or back day, back and biceps, tricep, chest, whatever you're working on. You do like really heavy weights, and you have to rest after that because you've broken down the muscle, so the muscle needs to heal. So giving yourself that time to heal is really important. Can you do it every day? Probably, but would you do a leg workout every day? Probably not. So that is the mentality behind it. So that can be found on my website, From Fertility to Delivery, and that's in the healing exercise section. And I will be answering a lot of questions as I go live every Thursday night. This Thursday, I'm going to start with Instagram, and eventually I hope to be on all 3 platforms that have live opportunities, which is Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. I got to work out how to do that from a technical perspective. But either way, my handle on all of my platforms at From Fertility to Delivery. And I look forward to answering any questions that you have, not just about the Akashic Records, but any video that I've created. I send you much love from my heart to yours. Remember that you are so worthy of feeling fertile, trusting your body, clearing all your Akashic record contracts, and moving forward in the direction of your dreams. Everyone has desires, and building a family is definitely a desire for many of us. I know it was for me in my late 20s and 30s when the husband was nowhere in sight, but the tugs on my heartstrings to have a family were there. So I just had to have faith, and that faith turned into a very beautiful reality that I'm living now, and it has the offshoots and offsprings of this community that I'm creating to help other women and other couples enjoy the fruits of a beautiful desire coming true. So thank you for being here, and the link for the Akashic Records clearing, I'll go ahead and put it in this video. You'll find it in the description, but it is very accessible on the website. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful day.